great lunch. And we have a really, I think, quite interesting set of people on stage today, from the regulators or some form of the government regulation through to different roles within their various financial institutions. So I think this is going to be quite an interesting discussion. Now, for those of you who've been to many of these events before, sometimes panel discussions can get a little boring and a little dry. We had a little dry run this morning on the topics and discussions that we would have today. So hopefully there's going to be some nuggets. The questions I'm going to ask will hopefully surface out some nuggets of gold and helpful points that you could apply back into your own particular organizations. So to start with, we have that classic, I guess, provocative statement saying CIOs as a driver of digital disruption, the one-stop shop for everything in innovation. Is that true? Is the CIO the only place for innovation within a financial institution? So my question to the panel, is that true? Or is it not true?
Yeah, I agree with you, it is true.
You think so?
Yeah. At least in the present scenario, I'm talking in the context of public sector banks, and where they look at the CIO who is supposed to be more knowledgeable. And when I'm saying CIO, it is Chief, as I told you in the morning, the Chief Information Officer, not Innovation Officer.
No, I'm talking about the classic CIO, not the Chief Innovation Officer.
Yeah, so the CTOs are still the focus of any innovation. They look at it. In fact, they bring technology. I tell you one of the reasons in India why the CTO is more focused. Because vendors meet CTOs, not the department leaders.
Yeah.
Because they think the CTOs drive the entire technology. I think most of the people will push for me. Yeah. So unknowingly, it's not that he wanted to, he becomes a kind of picking point for any innovation in the system.
Okay. All right. What about the other panelists?
So let me put a slightly...
Is the CIO the only place for innovation?
So I'll put a slightly divergent view. So I come from the global experience, and now I'm looking at more the PSU experience as well. So there's a gamut of answers it can come to. When it comes to the Indian context, what Mr. Babu said still works. It is evolving.
Yes.
When you go to the global context, right, it is not a case. To give a very simple quote from one of the most advanced American bank, and I met one of the board members at one point in time around a year before, and the statement they made, the bank's board is now a tech board.
Yes.
It means every member of board has to have a reasonably sound knowledge of tech to make your company really stand against plethora of fintech advancements coming.
Right.
It means it is not they're worried of banks, they're worried of the fintech companies who are really taking away the share of profits in every line of business. So I do concur that in Indian context there's an evolvement that's happening, but globally it is no more an IT job. It's the entire set of management has to run the innovation digitally. Yeah?
Yeah. I think it's, I will put it this way, that innovation actually comes from the pain and the gaps what we are actually facing every day. So in the banking context, if you ask me, the pain, the customers who are the biggest custodial of the digital revolutions, whether it's at the employee end who are actually using the system, or it's the customers who are using our system. It is the pain which they are realizing that becomes the gaps. It comes from them, and then when we actually discuss that, with the help of technology, the innovation comes. For example, in our bank, what we have done, we have created a portal wherein we capture all the pain areas from the employees in each and every day, whatever they are facing by using my core banking or it is other applications and everything. At the customer's end also, what we have done, we are doing a program for each first Saturday of the each month, that is called as Aao Baat Kare. When we call the customers, and most of the time customers come out with their pain areas, and we capture them, we try to see them whether these things can be addressed to them with the help of the technology. Technology in that case, yes, our technology arm is there, we discuss with them, we come out with a real how to address that, and that way we mitigate this. So according to me, it comes from the very last mile of the user.
Okay. I might just in the interest of time, because we've had our talk cut short by 30 minutes, so we might have to slightly change our game plan from what we were doing this morning, team, if that's okay. So we're working on this. But our CEO, Jim Whitehurst, said to the analyst community last year in May, you can listen to it on Red Hat's investor relations website. He said, the vectors of threat are so ambiguous. How do you even begin to organize your company around that ambiguity? So I'll say that again. The vectors of threat are so ambiguous. How do you even begin to organize your company around that? The quote he was saying was, he was having a chat to an automotive executive, and he said, you know, Uber comes along, they buy a bunch of cloud, they build an app, and we've just been disrupted. And he said, how do you organize your company around that level of disruption and the vectors? You don't know, you've got these blind spots about where your threat is going to come from and then how you respond. So my question to the last three panelists is, what are your top three things that you're doing to restructure or organize your company around fostering a culture of continuous innovation?
I think the question is around, today there is a traditional way in which today there is a traditional way in organizations work, especially banks, financial services, and then we are having an incremental innovation. And there is a disruptive technology which comes in every single day, probably 3 technologies a single day. And if every time we think of adopting a technology and disruptive technology, we will just be in the morning we will be taking one assignment and the evening we will be taking another one. Fundamentally, what I see is we as organization, we should be clear. And the answer to the first question, by the way, is CIO, a traditional CIO, the person who did the answer is no. A traditional CIO cannot. Because the CIO needs to be a chief business officer as well today, in terms of when he wants to see that for the organization which he is running, what is required and which disruption is contextual to that company. So a few months back, a year and a half back, when somebody asked us that blockchain is there, which is going to be a disruptor, are you going to adopt? Our answers were no. Today when we discuss, the answers are there. Answers are there because the world is moving towards collaboration. Companies in the same space move towards collaboration. When we talk about the 3 things which we would want to see as our priority for a financial services company, so we are into SME lending space to small and medium enterprises. For us, the first one is to increase the scale. So for increasing the scale, we want the entire population of India to be exploited in a very simple manner. Earlier we had mobile apps, we had web applications, Indian tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities were not even accessing these web applications. Then we got mobile applications, thanks to Mr. Ambani, that the penetration of Jio is very high in India. And we see the mobile application as opportunity to be high. But at the same time, if I go back and so after my office, I go back and I see my 12-year-old daughter. She opens her Instagram and sends a message and then waits and is very impatient to see that, am I getting response? And this is the millennials are going to be like this. So the disruption, the first disruption I would say is required is whatever somebody asks in his natural language, an immediate response from an organization like ours should go in a natural way. So NLP bots is first thing which I would say is priority number 1 for us, where the bots are going to talk to all the systems of organizations and give a right response to this generation, which is millennials or even the ones who are the young generation. The second one is we certainly want to see the role of analytics, which is analytics and big data, the role of social footprint of a customer to be assessed as the role of these things to give a loan to a customer, to lend to a customer. So rather than just taking a bureau data, and bureau is doing a wonderful job in but bureau data plus alternate data together and give a loan to a customer where you can still control your credit risk. So the first is business expansion, where you can have a customer experience where customer asks for it, so a prospect asks for it, and you give a response, and then you are ready for delivery. But are this a right customer? Then the second piece, which is the structured data, the unstructured data, the social data. And after these two things, the third one is organizations in financial services certainly still need to keep their cost of operations in mind when they want to be competitive. So things like RPA, robotic process automation, is the third one, which is a bigger priority. I would just consider these three to be the big priorities when we carve our strategy now in today's world as against what it was earlier. And we as CIOs are in a heart and soul of ours, we have these CEOs as well when we carve the strategy.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so
Ben, I have a very simple answer to your question, and if I've understood it correctly, it's mostly about the kind of innovative technologies that we are looking at implementing, but how do we foster an environment which breeds innovation in an organization. Now, we go by a very simple rule that talent is never static. I mean, it will either grow or it will die. So when you want to nurture an ideation process in your company, then you have to ensure that you're constantly fueling it or feeding it in some sort of a way. Now, you have to give your people reason to be able to take an interest in it, to be able to participate when you're trying to tell them that you want to have a culture in your company which helps innovation. They should feel to be a part of it, there has to be a reason behind it. More often than not, we have seen that companies come up with plans wherein we talk about employees and we tell them that why don't we come up with innovative ideas, why do you need to contribute towards this innovation thing that we are doing, and we promise rewards and those kind of things happen. Probably we don't pick up ideas at that point in time, but we do at some other point in time when it's viable. But when we promise rewards to our people, let's ensure that we keep the promises and kind of make them feel that they are a part of it, kind of make them feel engaged. So you give them a reason to contribute to that innovation. The second I feel is if you do something which is kind of constructive, like schedule brainstorming sessions with them. So you time it, you put it into their calendars, maybe a monthly, fortnightly, weekly, whatever, but you time it. So when you talk about innovation, it's a dream. When you kind of envision it, it becomes kind of a possibility. But when you schedule things, it kind of becomes real. So people, I mean,
sorry to interrupt. Do you actually then provide a certain time for people to go and be creative?
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really interesting. Sorry to cut you off there, but I think that's a very interesting construct there, because when we're talking about innovation, we might talk about innovation as the defining word of the 21st century business and governments actually as well. Innovation is not a technology. It's how one applies that technology to address preempt customer issues or find an itch to scratch, so to speak. But if your employees don't have time to have that space to experiment and try things, then when are they ever going to try and fix or improve or enhance things? So you're saying you actually provide that space on a monthly basis or what have you to actually go and do that level of experimentation?
So I'll give you an example. So suggestion boxes are great, but I've seen better responses coming to complaint boxes. Okay, so what I used to do with my team, for example, is, I mean, you would tell them that, okay, your ideas are welcome and you can share it. But it won't come to you till the time you're actually engaging with them. But like when after the monthly reviews, we started allotting some 10 to 15 minutes of time, which has got nothing to do with what they have done till now, which has got nothing to do with the reviewing of the activities that they're doing on a monthly basis. It's a pure play ideation thing. So I asked my team, is there something that you want to have any suggestions with respect to any of the processes that we are doing. Sometimes those are very small ideas, but it has helped us kind of, align things much better in the regular day-to-day things that we do. So that helps us. Yeah, so schedule, it helps. The third, I think the simple is when you get any idea from anyone, respond to it. So it can be a kind response, you might not personally like that idea, so you can turn it down kindly, but you respond to it. You either act on it.
So acknowledge it.
Acknowledge
and
it.
say, okay, we'll take that into consideration. Yeah.
Because not everyone will come up with great ideas, at first shot. People can't be productive all the time, but even a dead clock gives, the time correctly twice a day. So at some point, people do contribute in a great way. So,
and is that through email or through a portal, or where do they do that? Or just in general?
So whichever is your mode of connecting with your employees, whether it's like a team meeting.
So it's formal or informal channels.
Whatever it is.
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you.
When it comes for innovation, it cuts across people, process and technology. So there's nothing called as tech-led innovation. Innovation can come with a collaboration between people leading to the technology innovation, technology leading to the innovation where the productivity of the people can be better. At the same time, people leading to the process innovation and taking the assistance of technology to foster it. That's how it cuts across the entire vehicles which run the entire business. The question here today is, should the business lead the technology or should the technology lead the business?
Sorry, can you say that again?
The question here is the business that should lead the technology by giving the requirement, or should the technology lead the business by proactively giving their ideas?
Is it the horse or the cart? Which comes first in a way? Yeah.
So the times have come where CIOs are transitioning towards Chief Business Information Officer, probably next 3-4 years. It will be the CIO who will be part of the board members. So there are very less CIO who are part of the board members. There will be active participation where they will be talking about tech orientation business model which will help the business to fit. If you look at the investors and the traction that is happening across the globe, there is a reason why most of the investments are going towards tech-oriented business orientations. If you take the example of say Uber, or if you take the example of payment gateways, PayPal, and all these examples globally, and even if you look at the way the regulations and government in India is moving, it is the technology which is not used as a support function but facilitation to guide the business to make the revenue model. And to answer the first question, this summarizes that as Chief Information Officer, whether you like it or not, have to play a role of a Chief Business Information Officer. That's your redundant in the next 3 years' time. If you wait for the business to come and give you their requirements, their process flows and their workflow, and if you're going to build and deliver, then you're dead in competition. Because your competition has got a Chief Business Information Officer who has gone and met your partners and customers in the market, has proactively understood the requirement, and before it comes as a process or a requirement from the business, has built and delivered it to the business. So it's a very thin line that is going to happen. And in the next 3 years, if we don't become a Chief Business Information Officer, and if we don't interface with partners and customers, if we don't spend 60% of our time in the market and build the technology as per that, we're out of the game.
Just one point to make. Innovations are always happening. They're happening from centuries, right? It's not that innovations happening now. But the sheer pace of innovation has gone really, really rapid.
The velocity of it.
Yeah. So what has happened is, what used to work 20 years before would ever work for next 20, 30, 40 years, and then you go for a change, right? So typically when Kodak came with the camera, it ran for 50 years. After that, changes are happening every 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. In fact, every year you see a new technology coming in. So the pace has gone high. So what it means for the innovation or how things have been driven, right? The expectation from customers are increasing every day. It means, you know what I got today, it's taken, it's there. I need to get something new more to make my product sell. It's very fundamental to any innovation. Point number 2, the speed has to be really fast. You cannot keep on churning product at maybe a year or 2. It happens real time.
So I don't want to cut you off there, but just worry about time. But to your point, this is what Jim was saying. The vectors of threat are so ambiguous.
Yes.
How do you begin to organize your company, restructure,
Yes.
align, KPI, measure, instill formal or informal models and communication channels to have the best ideas rise to the top. Test these new technologies, apply them, have an applied innovation centre or what have you. So that's kind of my question. What are you doing, or what can you do to reorganise or restructure your business to become that business information officer that facilitates innovation and ideation and creation?
I think fundamentally starts with the mindset. You'll be very clear in your mindset.
Who drives that mindset then?
Yeah, so it's the organization, it's every individual who drives the mindset. It starts from the top, it has to go to the bottom as well.
What do you do when the top doesn't want to have that?
Well, the top gets changed. It's really fast, I'm telling you. I mean, see, the amount of change you're going through, and I'm very honest about it, right? The kind of patience...
Are you talking about a mutiny on the ship, so to speak?
It's everywhere. I mean, let's use a generalized context, and I'll not go to any company, right? Bob is my 8th company I work with. I've seen American companies, European companies, Indian companies. The kind of pace at which things are changing, and the way investors' patience is running out so quickly, you have to deliver, and you have to start at the top. So, people mindset change is a fundamental to it. If you don't have the right people, you'll never deliver.
Do you ask, just slightly off cue question, do you ever wonder if you've hit your own roadblock in terms of your creativity and your ability to handle the future challenges of your company? So, I've been at Red Hat 10 years, 11 years. So I live in my own Red Hat echo chamber. I believe my own Kool-Aid. Right? You've worked for your companies for many years, some of you. You get to a point, don't you, where you I've stopped creating value. I've stopped being a critical thinker. I am not helping the business solve issues. I'm actually a constraint. I'm stopping the business change. And I just put to you that innovation is about changing mindsets. You as leaders are asking your staff to change their mindsets. But are you changing your mindset? Have you got that level of critical thinking and self-analysis and dynamicism to try and solve, issues of customer experience, how you do IT, testing technologies, organizational change? So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I don't do this, then I'm a misfit to the organization. Wherein, like in a typical organization like our bank, IDBI, where the average age is 30 plus, and the whole employee strength is aligned towards the technology, adopting that technology. We have to have that kind of alignment from the IT side also. See, that is why we had created the system of awarding the employees for giving the ideas. We have a portal wherein all this has been discussed, deliberated, threadbare, and there is a committee called SPARK, which is a product and review committee, wherein if it is accepted, that has been awarded. So this is an award. The moment this is awarded, the idea gets floated, we capture that into a project management portal. Therein the BRS is developed, and then we attach that system with the technology. So that's the infrastructure we have created. And at the parallel, these things are being monitored. These are being KRIs are defined. So I mean that ecosystem has to supply that kind of ambience, otherwise it is difficult. I'm sure that we are on the right track.
I'll just answer that slightly different.
yes.
If you want to foster innovation, you need to come out of your traditional box mentality of having a regulated KPI, KRA, standardized processes, and using your standardized tools and techniques. What you need to instill is the mindset of him being an entrepreneur. So you need to stop calling an employee as an employee, and you need to call him as an entrepreneur. Which means you need to tell him that you don't have to do your KPI and KRA. Of course, you need to achieve your basic goals, which is aligned towards the organization. Because at the end of the day, you need to achieve your top line and bottom line for the stakeholders and the shareholders who are there. But you come out with an idea where the organization evaluates and funds you for the idea, and you work on that idea like an entrepreneur end to end. That is where you bring an element of innovation. The moment you start the structure of KPI and KRA, they restricts to the top 5 line items and the focus gets into it completely, and the innovation becomes on the bottom of the pyramid. So if you want to bring innovation on the top, tell them that your one of the key most KPI and KRA is to come with a thought process and idea where we will fund you end-to-end for that idea, where you are accountable for implementing it end-to-end, along with the workforce and the task force and the team that is there. That's how the change in the whole way you look at the organization.
What do you? So I'll just let you speak.
Yeah, I just to share, like now, it's not that everybody innovates, otherwise customer will be there will be a lot of confusion, customer will be confused if everybody starts inventing something, innovating. Most of the time it is imitation of somebody's innovation and catching up with the market. This is one thing. Another thing, as Bandi and they said rightly, whether you need all the innovations, what are happening in the market. So your innovation depends on your budget and the size of the bank ultimately. That's how it happens. And regarding innovation, how we do that, earlier the concept of Chief Innovation Officer was not there. Now it is coming in some banks, like state kind of DCB and all. So and even public sector bank, they have their own now started their own innovation teams. Where, like, for example, in our bank, what we did is we let them expose to some your Watson or something that give them for 30 days and work on it, conduct some small hackathon, encourage them, and just to inculcate the habit of innovation. That's what I feel.
I would come to your question. Your question was why you would set the culture in your team that please change. What is it you are doing as a Chief Information Officer? I think, and many of us are experienced, and we have seen the process going through where we always used to take a business requirement from a business function, do an analysis of that, and through a waterfall model used to deliver it. The one you mentioned, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Then time changed and we got into agile project management, Scrum Masters being just writing stories and delivering. We changed from there to here, and then we changed now to fail fast because, as I mentioned, one day there will be
I call that succeed often, succeed early, not fail fast, fail quickly. That's the half glass full approach, but yes, fail fast.
Right. So that's what we are adopting to it. We are saying that okay, there are 5 different people who are working on this particular objective, business objective. Just see that these are the set of things which are going to work, not work, eliminate, go ahead. So we as the set of people from whom expectations are that we are going to change the way business works. These are set of things which we have to change in ourselves, and then move forward where the rest of the team will follow and take that. That's the change.
You know, we're going to come to a close, but I will ask one last question. A guy, Marty Kagan, who was from eBay, product manager from eBay, he said for new requirements and projects that came in, he would charge the project business owner a 20% tax. So that was effectively 1 day a week. His team could go and do whatever they wanted to do because they didn't have the space or time. So similar to what you were saying, Mehjabeen, that you provide some time per month for people to go and trial things. His tax was 1 day a week because he knew that if he didn't give his team that time to go and do the things they always wanted to try and fix and improve, because innovation is a big bang, it's incremental. That allowed his team to go and fix things and make things better and optimize things. So I thought that was an interesting perspective. Now, we're going to run just slightly over time, but can I ask maybe a couple of you, if you had your time again in your institutions that you work for, what is 1 or 2 things, if you can be very brief, that you would do differently to foster innovation? Whether it's organizational change, it's KPIs, or it's incentives, or it's communication channels, or hiring of people, or yourself going off and getting, doing some innovation courses. What are 2 things that you would do differently? Because I think that would be quite useful for the audience if you had your time again. So, yeah, please go ahead.
If I had my time, I would go with respect to this because I haven't had much
Can you
time.
just speak up a little, because I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I
You've got a
said
lovely
I had
soft
my
voice.
time. With respect to this organization, I've not been there for very long. But in general, if I have to talk about it, and with respect to innovation, one is you treat mistakes in a better way. So when suck it up, when we spend money to make money, sometimes we lose. So there are times when, the ideas don't go well, and there are times that you incur losses, but the way you treat or you put the hammer down is what will is what is going to nurture the kind of responses that you're going to get next. If people see that mistakes are not being treated very kindly or there are very harsh impacts, maybe they'll go a foot back and not kind of contribute. So I've seen this a couple of times that when you're too harsh on people so treat mistakes a little better, maybe with a little more kindness, because mistakes do happen. And apart than that, I think I talked about it before. One of the other things also that I would want to go back and do is, if I would have been able to kind of do these schedule things in my past organization or sometime back, maybe the culture that we set in a company. So you can have strategies for innovation and you can have a chief information officer, but if it's not imbibed, it's not woven into the fabric of your culture, culture is going to eat strategy for breakfast. So you end up having siloed innovations. You will have a corporate digital strategy, but then people will be working in silos. It's not going to help much. Somewhere it's going to lead to shadow ID, another problem for you to manage. So these are the couple of things that I think probably are.
I think if I have been given chance, I will try to make a Flipkart or a Facebook kind of things. Okay. If I ever get a chance of going to college, I will try with my friends and I will do something. Okay. Because that's something which is really attracting nowadays. Find a startup which can create, which can solve a lot of problems, which is enormous systems. I remember I heard this owner of this Freecharge. There is a very popular app in India, Freecharge. This person used to stand up in front of the movie hall, asking that if I offer you this kind of app in the market, this kind of facility, then how it? He got the response positive and then came out with this Freecharge app, which is now one of the very popular apps. According to me, it's like that.
All right, look, I'm very sorry. We had a couple of other questions, but for being respectful to time and the agenda, unfortunately we haven't been able to get through all of it. But I do want to say thank you to the panelists for considering and taking into account some of the questions that I had planned for them. So they're all very diligent. They wrote notes. So please come up to them afterwards and ask them some more questions about what they would do differently. But to the panelists, thank you very much for your time and your consideration. Thank you.